there a Jeffrey Epstein right now that we don't know about?
There's a million of them.
That headline is not from a tabloid. The man that everyone is still debating is not a narrative. According to the most popular podcaster on the planet, everyone above him is the story. Everyone is chasing him in the story. The identities contained within the 3 million pages that the U.S. Senate recently decided to keep hidden tell the story.
That couldn't be true. And then you realize that it is.
This is what no one on TV news is telling you. A man with 12 Oscar nominations, a UN climate ambassadorship, a foundation bearing his name, and a 104-acre private island off the coast of Belize that he has owned for 21 years, but for which building has mysteriously never begun, is one of the names that appeared in those files.
One problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
On live national television, that was Corey Feldman. The host shifted the topic. That same host would face accusations of his own years later. The pattern almost writes itself, and today we will take you step by step through how that pattern comes to Leonardo DiCaprio's doorstep slowly, softly, and by name. As a query, not as a charge. Joe Rogan posed the same query. Mel Gibson has been asking the same question for 20 years. While everyone in the industry pretended he was not speaking, Corey Feldman yelled the same question into a microphone. Now, where is it taking place? And why does the man who has the most spotless reputation in Hollywood own an island that is off limits to everyone? By the conclusion of this, you will be able to examine every red carpet event, climate speech, and charity gala in the same manner that Joe Rogan currently examines 3 million pages of files. So stay with me. Different. The Epstein talk had a pattern for years. A fresh file would appear. There would be a new name. A 6-minute panel would be broadcast on cable news. A senator would sidestep a query. Everyone would then resume their arguments on whatever was popular that afternoon. The narrative would end. The names would become obsolete. The mechanism would proceed. That pattern worked because, until Joe Rogan did so, no one with a real audience was prepared to sit down with the documents, read them through to the end, and share with their audience what they discovered. He did not make any theories. He made no guesses. He got the files open. He perused them. Furthermore, what he discovered was not a tale of a single deceased financier in a Manhattan prison cell. What he discovered was a franchise model, a plan, and a structure. And the instant he realized that the man everyone was still discussing was actually the network's operator rather than its originator, the entire conversation altered at that point.
Jeffrey Epstein right now that we don't know about?
There's a million of them.
Sentence land for a moment. 1 million of them. Because if Rogan is correct, and the documents seem to support him, then everyone who came into contact with Epstein, flew on his plane, visited his island, attended his parties, communicated with his associates, or accepted his hospitality following his 2008 conviction is now under suspicion. Not because they committed any crimes, but rather because the system they lived next to survived Epstein's death. It was rearranged. It discovered a new operator, a new face, and a new island. And no one at the U.S. Department of Justice is ready to identify that. Rogan recognized this right away, and this is what he said about the type of operation Epstein was actually conducting.
I bet it was a real good honeypot where there's a lot of sophisticated intellectual discourse. You got a lot of brilliant people there. You've got great music, you know. You got like famous people are hanging around too. It's like, it seems really cool. And then, if there's blackmail, the blackmail is like snuck into all this. Snuck in, come to the room with the cameras. The next thing you know, you're doing cocaine.
Snuck in that term is important because this is precisely how it operates. A kidnapping is not something you are invited to. A dinner invitation is extended to you. A crime does not invite you. You receive an invitation to a yacht. A controversy does not invite you. You receive an invitation to a private island with a renowned host, a renowned guest list, stunning surroundings, and the kind of serene luxury that makes you feel as though you have finally arrived. You are already in the pictures by the time you understand what is truly going on. The manifest already has you on it. You have already been connected. The trap is that Mel Gibson attempted to warn the world about this trap for more than 20 years, but no one was prepared to pay attention. A young Australian actor in his mid-20s entered Hollywood for the first time and sensed something long before Joe Rogan opened those files. The Senate vote, Virginia Jeffer, the documentary, and all of this. He was unable to identify it. He sensed it in the room, but he was unable to confirm it.
Here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
He was really bothering to explain it to you though. That particular detail is crucial because when a new employee enters any typical industry, they are given an orientation on how things operate, the do's and don'ts, the chain of favors, the unwritten regulations. However, Mel Gibson entered Hollywood and found that everyone there believed he already knew. And what appalled him were the things he was meant to already know, the things no one would explain.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill.
Enter the hilltop home. He is not being lyrical. He is articulating an instinctive emotion that anyone who has ever entered a room guarding a secret understands. A talk that ends in the middle of a sentence, a flickering of eyeballs, the smile that is a beat too long. Mel Gibson sensed that right away, and he started by talking himself out, just like any rational person would.
And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that.
He was mistaken. It was paranoia, he told himself. He told himself that was not how an entire town could be. 20 years later, the world began to understand how he had been feeling all along. Bryan Singer, Harvey Weinstein, quiet on set, the Diddy indictment, the Nickelodeon investigations, and the Epstein files. The things Mel Gibson had been taught were crazy ideas, began to surface as documented criminal instances one by one. He continued, saying, I want you to listen to this as seriously as you have ever listened to anything in your life.
And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think, it does rip your life to pieces.
There were nightmares, not rumors, not exaggerations, not nightmares. The phrase a man uses when his greatest fear comes to pass. It also tears your life apart. Mel Gibson paid the price for his early insight. Mel Gibson was forced to pay that price by the industry through punchlines, blacklisting, and 10 years of media coverage that ensured the audience would laugh at him before he could say anything about Hollywood. That was the idea, and it was successful until the files began to disappear. This is the portion of the tale that the mainstream media still refuses to discuss, since it would make them complicit. Because there was a man who said it aloud in plain English while the cameras were running on national television before Mel Gibson, Joe Rogan, and all of this. In real time, the entire business made the decision to act as though nothing had
I
happened.
can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
Concerning it, it is the huge secret I declared out in front of a national audience during a morning broadcast. The host then continued. The discussion continued. The narrative continued. Corey Feldman returned home to a career that had been methodically destroyed by the same industry he had just exposed. They referred to him as unstable. He was referred to as a conspiracy theorist. They made fun of his music. They made fun of the way he looked. They made fun of his interviews. They made him into a joke so that the audience would ignore him before he could say anything. Mel Gibson was subjected to the same playbook. After that, something occurred.
As much as I've been behind the Wizard's curtain in 30 plus years and coming to this town, there are powerful forces at play that I don't understand, but I know they.
He is aware of their existence. He has spent 30 years behind the scenes. He is not using metaphors. With the clarity of a guy who has seen the inner workings of the machine, he tells you that there is a system in place in Hollywood that determines what is revealed and what is kept hidden. He then took it personally. He gave the victims.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you.
You are still here, watching in both the past and present tenses. Feldman is claiming on camera that he is aware of what a living person did. He is informing the audience that the offender is still in the business, working, going to premieres, getting paid, and remaining untouchable. Feldman stated that he could not be the one to do it, which is the sole reason he did not mention the name out. You are free to read anything you wish between those lines. The majority of people read it. In the same manner, then he delivered the bit that should cause everyone watching to pause and seriously consider the people they admire.
And there are people in this industry who have gotten away with it for so long that they feel they're above the law. And that's got to change. That's got to stop. Like, we can talk about Harvey Weinstein,
women.
How many senators just voted against releasing this, man? It's just it's like there's two votes that are happening. The UFO disclosure thing, they keep voting against that.
Yeah.
And the Epstein list, they keep voting against that.
In opposition to it, then Rogan said the thing that causes everyone on every private island in this tale, whether they are guilty, innocent, or somewhere in between, to sleep a little better at night.
What? And also, politically, it can't serve you to talk about a bad list. The list of people who said, let's protect people who like have done horrific shit to kids. You want to be on that list, but whatever's on that list must be so destabilizing.
The truth is that releasing those files in their entirety would not cause America to become unstable due to Jeffrey Epstein. So that word is doing all the work. Epstein has passed away. Those files were opened by Joe Rogan. He came up with his own name. He continued to read. Additionally, he discovered that Jeffrey Epstein was not the network's founder. The operator was him. The franchisee was him. The system was in place before him. Without him, the system went on. The island, the operators, and the face of the system have all changed. Additionally, the U.S. government recently told those operators in public that they are safe. 20 years ago, Mel Gibson saw it and attempted to alert us. They turned him into a joke. 30 years ago, Corey Feldman saw it and attempted to alert us. They referred to him as insane. In 2026, Joe Rogan finally revealed on the world's biggest key scale podcast that there are currently 1 million Epstein hiding in plain sight on private property with no oversight, no press access, and no repercussions. There are no charges against Leonardo DiCaprio. No criminal charges have been brought against Leonardo DiCaprio. There is no list of suspects that includes Leonardo DiCaprio. Before this video concludes, I would like to make that very clear. In the post-Epstein world, where Corey Feldman, Mel Gibson, and Joe Rogan have all pleaded with us to wake up to the fact that the man with the cleanest image in Hollywood has built his life so carefully around private spaces that no one is allowed inside. The document drops were rumored to be the reason why the eco-resort he announced in 2005 has never been built. Please leave a comment with the name you believe should be the subject of the same inquiries. We are far from finished with this list. If Joe Rogan is correct, and there are 1 million Epstein out there at the moment, the next name on it will be someone you currently look up to. In the next one, I will see you.